Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, dear sweet friend. Welcome back to the Stamford Bridge studio here on the Fulham Road. But will it still be here if Stamford Bridge gets relocated? Will Chelsea be playing with a big troublemaking whopper up front who are now favourites to sign? What's going on with Graham Potter? Is he getting the unconditional backing he deserves, or does he deserve it from the ownership? Ladies and gentlemen, it might be the World Cup international break, and I might have some more days off than usual. And when I say usual, you know I work 7 days a week, make videos 7 days a week, never have a day off. I'll be having more throughout this World Cup break. But no, I'm not going to leave you in the cold, because why would I do that to you? My friends, my viewers, my subscribers, and hopefully supporters, I will be here talking big stories intermittently in between. And there's a lot to get into today. Of course, that whopper, Piers Morgan, has interviewed his best mate, Cristiano Ronaldo, and broke the sporting footballing internet last night with that interview. I mean, he's been playing since they did this interview. This is like, you know, James Franco in the noose looking over Chelsea fans to Man United fans. First time. This is like the Lukaku interview, possibly times 10, because obviously Lukaku got into the team since he did the interview and then the interview came out. Difference is here, Ronaldo is going off to the World Cup with Portugal, and he won't play for United again, which is very, very interesting. We're going to get into it all, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Todd Boehly and don't you dare bloody think about it, mate. You know, all of that. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping a like and all your sweet love and support. See how many likes we can get, eh? You see the number of likes, you can make it higher. You just click on the like button and comment. You know, that's how it works, I think. And you are welcome to subscribe if you're yet to do so. And should you choose to do so, I recommend you hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Where to start? First and foremost, look, there's a story been going around about Chelsea potentially relocating to Earls Court, the stadium. The West London Cowboys transformation is in full effect. I joke. Only a bit. Hopefully. Look, this has long been a potentiality for Chelsea, and it's only a thought being thrown around. Of course, Roman Abramovich tried to relocate Stamford Bridge to the Battersea Power Station site place. He was unable to do so because of the Chelsea pitch owners, of course, who own Stamford Bridge, which is essentially the Chelsea fans own Stamford Bridge. And he tried to buy out all their shares so he could do that, but it was unsuccessful. Now, this story isn't saying that Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital are definitely going to do that. And of course, they would have to address the Chelsea pitch owners first prior to doing it and make a case for why they should do it and why it would be for the best of the club. But the preference still remains for the new Chelsea ownership to redevelop rather than relocate. And redevelop is obviously probably doing one stand at a time. Let other big stadiums get done, but they need to get Chelsea's Stamford Bridge, or Chelsea Stadium, hopefully, touch wood, still called Stamford Bridge, to not the like friggin' Chevrolet Stadium. They need to get it to at least 60,000 capacity, really, ideally, and they'll look to do that. Hopefully by just redeveloping one stand at the time, but then, you know, they'll probably like to relocate because they can keep playing at Stamford Bridge until they move, essentially, like Tottenham did sort of next door. Anyway, I wouldn't worry too much. It is something that they need to do. It's something that ultimately Chelsea need to do. It's not that cynical. It's going to make Chelsea better and more money and more fans and better atmosphere and better acoustics. And when there's better atmosphere and acoustics, the team play better. And when the team play better, you and me smile. Because I tell you what, right now, ladies and gentlemen, hot dog, we ain't smiling. Early doors will keep you posted on that development of the stadium rebuild. Right, we are going to read a piece in a moment on The Athletic by Simon Johnson that will give you full lowdown on the situation with Graham Potter at Chelsea, which is a very interesting one. It's a kind of a long read. I will, of course, put that down in the description, so settle in and get comfortable for this one, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you might be sitting down watching me on your sofa or whatever. You might be listening to me in the car or while you do housework, but it's going to be a good episode for you to tune into. But let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's done that interview with Piers Morgan. And actually, before I talk about Piers Morgan. A friend of mine, Marco Worrell, screenshotted a tweet of his way back to add a little context for, of course, a lot of people upset with Graham Potter online on social media. You see a lot of fans, doing the Potter out hashtag. Piers Morgan tweeted this: bottom of the league, 3 games, 3 losses, 9 goals conceded, 0 scored. This is after our worst season for decades and failing to qualify for any European competition. Arteta has been a disaster. He has to go. Hashtag Arteta out. Poor first season. Then they started the season like that. Piers Morgan, I know he's a whopper, so you're being like, don't listen to that geezer. Agreed, he's a whopper. But many an Arsenal fan, social media, whether it's Sky Sports, Talk Sport, social media accounts, YouTube football accounts like me, like channels, were all saying he has to go. How has he not gone? I said it many times, and I didn't give a crap. I thought it was brilliant that Arsenal crap, and I was like, mate, how have they not sacked Arteta yet? Maybe that's a Chelsea fan that would have sacked him 5 times over. But he's just, he was sort of trending yesterday because he interviewed Ronaldo. It's just an example of the amount of people that were just certain Arteta wasn't going to work. Here he is now, 5 points clear at the top of the league in November. Going for Christmas, essentially, which is just wild. Ronaldo was interviewed by said whopper, Piers Morgan. I don't know when the interview took place, but it was obviously planned. Do you remember ages ago, he was like, look, I'll tell you the truth in a few weeks after these lies have been told about me in the mainstream media. Clearly, he was planning this interview with Piers Morgan, his mate. An unlikely and rather peculiar friendship. A couple of dickheads from different walks of life have decided to make friends. Maybe they can hang out with Max Verstappen too, and they could all hang out together. Anyway, he interviewed him, and no, I gotta thank Piers Morgan for this, because boy, what a bunch of lols and content, We had it with Lukaku, have a bit with Ronaldo, you know what? Have it a little bit extra spicy, have it worse. He's saying stuff like, they're trying to get me out of the club, they're saying like the facilities and the training ground and the stadium's all still shit, hasn't changed since I've left. Fair enough. United fans would probably agree with that and be like, yeah, you gotta, call out the shit part of United, the Glazers not putting money in. Great, fine. But he's really gone to town, saying, look, people want him out, some players, some of the staff. He doesn't respect Ten Hag, which is wild. United are on a good run. They just had a last-minute winner. They're feeling good. They've got that kid Garnacho who's playing well and scoring last-minute winners and tight games against a good Fulham side away. The vibe is good, and he's here to take a dump all over it, which is great. I love it. It's fun. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. We like it. Until Cristiano Ronaldo becomes favourite to join Chelsea, or rather Chelsea become favourites to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. And many of you will be sort of twitching a little bit after these recent Chelsea results and nothing being scored up front and be like, ooh, Cristiano Ronaldo. No. Stop that. Stop it. Absolutely not. Todd Boehly, this dude is 38 years old, and he's not Thiago Silva at the back standing there reading the game like a sort of maestro genius. He's running around, he's walking around up front, flapping his arms in the air because he's not scoring all the goals. This is not the solution. Many of you out there who are upset with Graham Potter are pining for Thomas Tuchel. You're howling at the moon for Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel categorically said multiple times no to Cristiano Ronaldo. Amongst a few reasons, this is apparently why, one of the reasons why he fell out with the ownership. And by the way, quickly while I'm on this, people forget, we didn't sack Tuchel for nothing. Results were really poor. Leeds, Southampton, we couldn't score goals towards the end. We lost in the Champions League, a game we should have won. They were really poor results. He wasn't getting on with the ownership, obviously, and that caused big stirs. He had that pre-season meeting of 2 groups of guys who wanted to play for Chelsea and who didn't, which is mental, by the way. Apparently he's done that before at previous clubs. And then he started players who didn't want to be there, and he, froze players out who did want to be there. He messed it up, Tuchel. I love him, but there's loads of problems. But reportedly, him saying, look, I don't want Ronaldo, this doesn't work for United, this won't work for Chelsea, upset the ownership and Todd Boehly. So this is a message to you, Boehly. A message to you, Boehly. Don't fucking sign Ronaldo, mate. Sorry for swearing. I apologise if anyone is watching this with your children. I try not to. But this is an absolute must not for me. Cristiano Ronaldo is not the solution for Chelsea Football Club. He will cause more rifts in apparently not that harmonious dressing room at the moment. Breda has literally just done a self-destructive interview. He is not what you want at our football club. I'm saying it now. I shan't say it again. He's had a great career. He's pushing 40. He's causing problems and he's losing his mind. Don't bring him to Chelsea. Let's move on and talk about our actual players and club. Right. I will link this article down in the description by Simon Johnson. Some Chelsea fans are losing patience with Potter, but his club, here's the club's total backing now. Excuse me. We're going to dive into this. The last time Chelsea suffered 3 straight Premier League defeats, the manager was sacked soon afterwards, but history is not going to repeat itself. Chelsea's 1-0 loss to Newcastle on Saturday meant Graham Potter had emulated the undistinguished feat of Jose Mourinho's 7 years earlier, who lost to West Ham, Stoke and Liverpool from December 2015. Hashtag the Jose Mourinho season, as Conte called it afterwards. Anyone going on social media or even reading through some of the comments on the article, Athletic articles, will see an increasing section of supporters wanting Potter to suffer the same fate after losing to Brighton, Arsenal, and then, of course, Newcastle. However, they're in for disappointment because the Athletic sources, who need to maintain anonymous in order to protect their jobs, which is always the way with sources, they have made it clear that the club's new owners' support for Potter and the long-term project they share is unwavering. Which means, look, he's here to stay. Indeed, this was communicated to the Englishman just a few days ago. Before anyone misconstrues this, it should not be mistaken for a vote of confidence, which is the phrase which has often been used for a manager who's on the verge of getting the sack. Rather unconvincing public backing. Look, basically, they're not saying he's been given a vote of confidence. They're just like, no, this is the freaking plan. We've looked at Chelsea. We've looked at how Chelsea has struggled for the last 10 friggin' years. And in fact, let's pause this. I did a video on my social media, which you're welcome to follow at Football Yannick on Instagram. Just that's probably the best. Let's there. There it is. Oh, my finger's gone. I said, look, Chelsea have been poor for a while. Probably a decade. In the last 10 years, you might be like, oh, in the last 10 years, we've won 2 Premier Leagues and 2 Champions Leagues, which is either a Premier League or a Champions League every 2.5 years. Sounds pretty good. Well, sounds alright. But it's not been. Tuchel worked a relatively good miracle. He did an amazing cup run in the Champions League. A deserved, historic Champions League win against excellent opposition. But it was a European tournament cup run with a fully fit and firing N'Golo Kante on the top of his game. World class, winning man of the match. Knockout round after semi-final to final. We don't have that, by the way. We also had 2 fit and firing full form wing backs in Ben Chilwell and Reece James. Of course, we had Antonio Rudiger on flames and, Christensen available and Cesar Azpilicueta a little bit younger and better. Only a bit, but granted. This is what was afforded to Tuchel, and he did an amazing job winning that Champions League. But that papered over the cracks, bro. We've been crap since we won the league in 2016-17. And even then, we were coming off the Mourinho season from this, which, of course, it was a further testament to this sort of dysfunction, disharmony in Chelsea as a team, as a club, because we don't know where we're going. We're not built from the ground up to go a certain way. We're all over the gaff. It's just further testament. Chelsea have been poor domestically for a long, long time. We've had good players. We've had moments of individual brilliance that have bailed us out of certain games. But generally, as a team, we've been crap for a long, long time. The new owners have analysed this with their new data-led way of thinking holistically. So this can't go on. We need to just dig into something. There you go. So no club would look forward to the World Cup break more than Chelsea. It isn't a recent development. The 45-day interval between fixtures was earmarked as a key period for the club's owners way back in summer, long before this campaign started, basically. The feeling was understandable. It's been non-stop ever since the stresses of the takeover has begun in March. The first transfer window to navigate and then trying to put ambitious plans in place, including making numerous changes to staff to run things behind the scenes. They've also invested in facilities, particularly to Stamford Bridge, to improve the matchday experience for fans, unlike the aforementioned Manchester United. With the team facing an intense schedule too, the World Cup was regarded as an important period for the calendar for things to calm down a little, an opportunity to take stock without the pressures of results to worry about. And we've been worrying about them, ladies and gentlemen. It would also assist with putting moves together to buy players in January, and of course Chelsea are looking to make moves in January. They're hot dog, we need it. We really do. But of course, things have not been going as well as the Todd Boehly Clearlake consortium would have liked on the pitch. They have made a very bold decision to sack popular head coach Thomas Tuchel in September and replaced him with the relatively inexperienced Potter. Unrest among the fans is growing, and that will be many of you watching as well. Only bottom club Wolves, with 1 point, have accrued fewer points in the past 5 games than Potter's side. 2 points! 2 points! Plus, they have been knocked out of the Carabao Cup, in the 3rd round for the first time in 12 years. Yeah, but context required, away at the Etihad, the champions. I mean, come on. You can imagine and we played quite well in that game. You can imagine what the atmosphere would be like at Stamford Bridge had they been playing Bournemouth this Saturday, rather than December the 27th, which is, of course, when it restarts. The tension in the air would have been palpable compared to what's surely going to be next month, when the edge would be taken off a little. Massively, you'd actually hope. So, but Boehly and Boehly attend games on a regular basis, which is great, by the way. This is not like the Glazers, the Cronkies, FSG, the other American owners in the Premier League. You always see Boehly and Todd Boehly at the games. They don't live in the UK, but they're always at the games. They want to spend money. They want to hire the right infrastructure. They want to... I'm going to sound like Donald Trump here. They want to make Chelsea great again. After riding an initial wave of popularity following a Premier League record 250 million plus spend on players, how will they react to the fans should the crowd start making their feelings known, like when Maurizio Sarri was in charge? Ooh. F Sarri, boo. Do you remember those chants? It doesn't sound like it will make much of an impact. There were many factors for Tuchel's departure, but a significant difference is Potter is their choice. He's their man. He was given a 5-year contract, a statement from the outset that this was a long-term process. On the eve of the Newcastle fixture, Potter admitted he was looking forward to having some period away from football and more opportunity to speak to the owners in depth. It goes for the quotes. I won't go for them here because I realise this is going into a long video. The club has spoken about how the working relationship between the owners and the management team has been positive. More than one source close to the senior players, excuse me, listen to this, speaking anonymously to protect their jobs, as they always do, have remarked recently how much, quote, they love Potter, end quote. It should be pointed out this is before the recent downturn of results, but nothing changed emotionally between them. But so that only started against Brighton with the 4-1 loss relatively recently. But the players reportedly love Potter, so saith this guy. There has been mitigating circumstances, of course, after the Newcastle defeat. Injuries are taking their toll. We've got Reece James, Wesley Fofana, Ben Chilwell, Kepa, Carney Chukwuemeka, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and of course the not fit to start often of Koulibaly and Mateo Kovacic. There's a lot of players there, starters. This is a squad that inherited a downturn the downturn began under Tuchel. People are really, really using revisionism here. Some are wondering if the owners are prepared to reset their ambitions. On arrival, their minimum target was a top 4 finish and qualifying for the Champions League, just as it would have been under Abramovich. But they're not going to sack him if he doesn't get top 4. They wanted a good Champions League run, reportedly, this campaign, and they've got a good chance of that after topping their Champions League group and drawing in Dortmund. A Dortmund side that, of course, no longer have Jadon Sancho or Erling Haaland. They're up and down, Dortmund. Chelsea will back themselves to win that, and they'll hopefully get through to the next round and have said Champions League run a feel-good factor. Just these Chelsea guys generally seem to do well. Of course, players are going to Abu Dhabi next month for training. It's pretty concise, ladies and gentlemen. Potter is being backed. There is more in the article. I'll link it down in the description, but I want to wind up because this is nearly a 20-minute video. I will be maybe doing longer videos over this break to give you guys some content. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And I really look forward to your conversation in the comment section. So I look forward to seeing you guys down there. See you very soon. Keep it locked to this channel. Peace.